And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Okay, well, tomorrow front drives eastward here under good southwest flow aloft, bringing a mixture of precipitation with it inland and gusty winds, high wind warnings out for the Alaska Range, the White Mountains are north of Fairbanks on up into portions of the Koyukuk Valley, and coastal flood warnings out for the Yukon Delta coast all the way north to the central Arctic coast. Otherwise, look for clouds to increase and chances of rain increase, mostly western Cook Inlet, periods of rain in the Kuskokwim Valley, and a weak trailing front down here brings some rain into the Alaska Peninsula and Bristol Bay area, and maybe into Shelikof Strait there, possibly making it to the east side or the west side of Kodiak Island. Otherwise, Copper River Basin on down the southeast coast, light winds, partly to mostly sunny skies, showery out to the west. For Thursday, a lot of showers here in the interior of varying types of precipitation, mostly snow to the north, mostly rain to the south. Drying out, a few showers over northern Cook Inlet with mostly cloudy skies. That same pattern holds for the Copper River Basin, Madanuska-Susitna Valley areas. Most of the Kuskokwim Valley, especially in the north there, as well as Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta. Chance of some showers there for the north coast of the Panhandle. Otherwise, higher pressure ridging back in this area ahead of a good storm. Again, storm force winds coming into the western Aleutians, that next active front. And looking at the actual numbers here for the marine forecast for the north coast of the Panhandle, variable winds 5 to 15 knots, central and south coast, northwesterlies at 15 knots. And variable winds at 10 knots over the inside waters with seas at 2 feet. And then for the day Thursday here, variable winds at 10 knots for the north coast. And for the central coast, northwesterlies 15 to 20 knots, and the south coast, north or northwest winds at 15 knots. And for Stevens Passage, look for north winds on Thursday, only at about 10 knots. Lynn Canal, south 15 knots. And Clarence Strait, north winds 15 knots. Prince William Sound for Wednesday. Southeast wind at 10 knots, seas 2 feet, light variable winds for the eastern North Gulf Coast with 4 to 6 foot seas, southwest 15 for the western North Gulf Coast. But we've got gale warnings here for Cook Inlet, Kamishak Bay, south winds 35 knots, seas 10 feet, southwest 30 knot winds for the Barren Islands with seas at 8 feet. And then for Thursday, as the front moves through, lighter winds out of the west, 15 to 25 knots for Cook Inlet, west 30 knots for Kamishak Bay, and gale warnings there for the Barren Islands, west winds 35 knots, seas 10 feet, and the North Gulf Coast, west to northwest winds, 30 to 35 knots with 7 to 9 foot seas. Small craft advisories now for Prince William Sound, west winds 25 knots, seas 6 feet. And for Kodiak Island on Wednesday, southwest winds 30 to 35 knots. Alaska Peninsula, southwest winds 25 to 35 knots, and Bristol Bay, south winds at 25 knots. Moving ahead to the day on Thursday, southwest 20 there for Bristol Bay. Otherwise, the Alaska Peninsula here, south to southeast winds of 15 to 25 knots. Kodiak Island, west winds 20 to 25. For the Fox Islands tomorrow, southwest winds 15 to 20 knots, southwest to 20 for Adak and Atka. Small craft advisories there for the western Aleutians for west winds at 25 knots and seas 11 to 12 feet west of Kiska. And then look for a big increase in the winds on Thursday here with that next active front pushing in. You can see good storm force winds west of Adak to Shemya. In fact, Kiska to Shemya, southeast winds 60 knots, seas 25 to 30 feet. And then Adak to Kiska Island, southeast winds 50 knots with seas 15 to 18 feet. Adak and Atka, gale warnings, southeast winds 40 knots. Nikolsky, southeast winds 40 knots. On Alaska Island, south winds 40 knots, seas 7 to 12 feet. And up along the southwest coast, southwest winds 30 knots. About the same pattern here across much of the Bering Sea. Southwesterlies 30 knots, St. Matthew Island and the Pribilofs. Seas up to 10 to 15 feet. Gale warnings for St. Lawrence Island, 40-knot winds out of the southwest. So gale warnings too for Norton Sound with seas up to 10 feet. And then for Thursday, Kuskokwim Delta coast, southwest winds 25 knots. West at 20 for the Yukon Delta coast. Small craft advisories Norton Sound. Southwest at 25. Bring it down to 20 knots from the southwest for St. Lawrence Island. And then winds on the increase again ahead of that next big storm pushing eastward there. Southeast 40 knots for the Pribilof Islands, and south coming up to 45 knots for St. Matthew Island. On up to the north there for the central and eastern Bulward Sea coast tomorrow. South to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. Small craft advisories, south winds 25 knots for the western Arctic coast. Seas at about 5 feet here. And then gale warnings for the Chukchi Sea. South winds 30 to 40 knots with 8 to 12 foot seas. And then for Thursday, west winds here for the western Arctic coast all the way down to the Bering Strait. 25 knot winds out of the west with seas running 5 to 10 feet, and small craft advisories on the eastern Bulward Sea coast, actually a little stronger there, west-southwest, 30 knots, seas 6 to 7 feet.